Okay, so this connected immediately to the TIO.
Oh, I thought you said it wasn't working.
The board's not connecting.
Oh. That's weird.
Unit ID 5.
Good evening and welcome to the first NA Summer Band concert. I will try to talk very little during this show, but if I can't believe that I would forget to say this, but your kids are amazing. This is something we've never tried before here at North Allegheny, and every week was exciting. They got better every week. They were smiling, and I think we had a great time together, and I hope you will enjoy the pieces that we're playing for you tonight. I kind of view this almost as like another rehearsal. We're just not stopping, and we're dressed better. So we hope you enjoy. Mr. Tozier will be running some slides to show you what we're playing, but the first piece we're playing is called Cardiff Castle. Our next piece is entitled Zombie Stomp, and this is one of the two pieces you will hear tonight that some of the kids played previously. And this will happen in the second-year band as well. I believe Mr. Clicker's students played Zombie Stomp in their spring concert, and so as much as I did not want to repeat things that students have already learned, they seem to love it. It's a great piece. As you can see with the visuals, we are band members trying to take down zombies. And in the song, you will hear the students do body percussion, that is stomping of their feet, and the percussion parts are really explosive, trying to take down those zombies. Thank you. That's a fun song to do. The third piece is entitled Cango Caves, written by Ralph Ford, and it is the one piece that to me sounds more like wind ensemble. So as your students get older and become more proficient, they may get into the NAI wind ensemble or the high school wind ensemble, and it's a different sound. This piece, all the other pieces are what I would call fun songs. This is the one I picked for me because this teaches a lot of different skills that you don't get in a song like Zombie Stomp, like playing smoothly and in playing rhythms that are different from that of what your neighbor is playing. So it's probably the most challenging one that they've done on this program. And cute little picture there of the cave, the actual Cango Caves, which we have tons of these here in America. It could have been called Luray Caverns Caves, which we went to this summer, but Our fourth piece is called Turbo Rock, written by Michael Sweeney, and this is one of those pieces where I'm amazed what the composer does. I believe we're only using 4 or 5 notes for all the instruments. So a student walks into this band and they really only know 4 or 5 notes really well. That's fine. That's all we have in this piece, and it's a rock style. Sounds like classic rock, a little bit like classic rock. I hope you'll enjoy it. Our last piece is an arrangement of the main theme from the movie Star Wars, which probably needs no introduction, and I could not do it justice anyhow, but I did look up a lightsaber picture for you. So as soon as this is done, the second-year band students will exit down this ramp back to the seats that they sat in before the concert starts. So I meant to say first-year band. They exit. Second-year band, as soon as we're applauding here, if you could please start your way up this ramp. Percussion should be first. That first row of oboe and flute, or oboe and clarinet, you'll be the last to enter the stage. Thank you.
flashlights for you, though?
Please grab all your stuff. All your stuff. And start moving your clothes or the music to go. So while we're moving groups, I thought I'd give you a little bit of information about how we got started with NA Summer Band. Maybe 10 or 15 years ago, we had summer lessons similar to what we currently have for orchestra students, but it doesn't work. It didn't work as well for band as it did for orchestra, and for a lot of reasons that was discontinued. For a couple years, around 10 years ago, I ran a summer academy band program. It was I think a 2-week program, and it was kind of poorly attended. And periodically between then and now, I would ask other band directors, what are you doing to help young musicians during the summer? And many schools, including Seneca Valley, has a camp. It's like a week-long, day-long thing. But I felt if I had a week-long camp, that it would keep a lot of kids out of the group, because if you're on vacation, you just can't do it. So a friend of mine runs a band system like this in Berks County. And I met up with him over the winter, and he told me how he ran once a week. Attendance is just come when you can and do a concert at the end. And he said it had worked really well for them for, I think, 15 years. And so some of my thank yous that history is important to understand. This past year, the music department was in interim curriculum review. And Mr. Tozier and I, if you've not met him, he's our department chair. There were 2 programs that we wanted to start. And while we were reviewing our curriculum, we felt that there was perhaps a need for summer music for band. And his is the NA, it'll be a junior musical, which is advertised throughout tonight's show. We got those into the curriculum and started them this year. So your children get to be in the first NA Summer Band. It is something that I hope continues for years and years, well after I'm gone. And in fact, next year I would like to add a 7th and 8th grade band. And after a couple more years, I would like to have a high school adult band. I can't tell you how many times a kid has told me, my mom played flute in high school. I'd love to give a chance for adults in our community to play alongside our students. So those are future plans. I didn't do this alone. I'm the one you got 1,000 emails from, but in terms of getting this approved and getting it off the ground, a big word of thanks should go to Dr. Tammy Andraco and Dr. Jim Bradley in central office. The NA musical, Mr. Tozier and his staff, Mr. Zebley, Ms. Weedham, they're here tonight helping us out. They helped support me all along and just provided all the lights, all the sound, the video that you're seeing tonight, just super helpful. Also, my colleagues, my elementary band colleagues, Mr. Clicker came to several rehearsals. Mr. Leisure and Mr. Kraus, they were unable to make it this summer, but I know they gave your kids the information, and they supported me throughout the planning of this program. The high school directors, Mr. Baldanzi came here. Mr. Steffen has been helping out. Ms. Geary is here with us tonight. She's playing with us. She came to some rehearsals. And Mr. Pizzani and Mr. Taylor, they also helped. One of the biggest things kind of happened on mid-season. I realized I needed a little help. And it was too late to hire extra help. So I talked with Mr. Steffen, the high school band director, and Mrs. Helgerman, who is one of the staff members for the band. I said, can we get some high school students in to help out? So I'm going to ask the mentors if you could please stand, and I'm going to include the 8th graders and 10th grader that are playing with us. Can you guys stand, please? Yeah. So most of these students are going to be section leaders and drum majors and marching leaders in band camp. You can sit down now. In band camp, which starts next week, or they're related to a director or another director from another district. They've been coming to some of our rehearsals and helping out. And the neatest thing was for me to stand up here and watch them work alongside your students and see this collaboration and this inspiration, I hope, that is provided to the younger students, this thought that, hey, I could sound like them someday. I can hear the low brass particularly. I mean, you're all awesome, but like there's this low brass wall of sound coming at me, and I think it must be great to be 10 years old and be sitting beside that. Parent volunteers, could you guys please stand? There's a lot of you. And many of you, I said, this is my first year doing this. This is probably confusing. We'll try it. You're like, that's fine. That's fine, Linda. We'll do it. You guys were great. Could not have done this without you. Hoping I'm not forgetting anybody. I don't think I am. So I bring you the second year band, and we will be playing 6 pieces for you. The first one, the Flintstones meet the Jetsons. So we're taking like prehistoric and totally future. And if you're like me, you're going to think, I really thought I'd be having a flying car by this point in my life. And we don't. Our next piece is taken from Walt Disney's Beauty and the Beast, and this, I think it was newly published recently. And when I saw it on the website for purchasing music, I thought, that's perfect, because I was just wondering, how many of you are doing the NA musical in the fall, the junior musical? Anyone? I guess you guys are going into 6th. Yeah, a couple of these students are going into 7th or 8th grade and are doing the junior musical. And when your students get into 7th or 8th grade, hopefully that opportunity, they might take advantage of that as well when they're in middle school. This is our slow piece in a funky key signature. This is the one that challenged them a great deal. And when a band director says that, do you know what they really mean? They're not sure how it's going to go. But we know we like the song, and we grow from it, and we're learning from it. So this is challenging. This is a tough key signature, and it's a tough tempo, and they worked really hard at it. So we hope you will enjoy. can tell by my smile there. That was pretty good. Next piece, Raiders March, is taken from the Raiders of the Lost Ark movies. And it's about this time when I was doing the program, I realized how old all this music is. 70s, 80s, and I thought to myself, isn't there anything from 90s and 2000s and 2010s that's worth playing with young kids? And I couldn't find anything online. I'm going to look. I'm definitely going to look for that and try to pull some things up that may be more current and relevant to them. But I still say these are really good songs and they're fun to play. So, Raiders March. Thank you. Next piece is by one of my favorite bands from, we're going to say not so long ago, from the band Chicago, 25 or 6 to 4. Yeah, that's another old one, I believe 77. Someone can Google it. It's an old one, but it's in a rock jazz fusion style, and that's something that anytime a fusion or a funk song comes on, remember Uptown Funk, people's ears wake up. It's an interesting sound for them to listen to, and I found that kids really like to play it. We hope you'll enjoy. Our fifth piece, we're playing 6, so this is next to last, is called Rings of Saturn. It's an original piece written by Michael Story, and he doesn't give a lot of information about the piece, but I always like to picture the beginning as like a very slow, maybe we're already out in outer space and like circling and on our way to Saturn, if it were physically possible to do that. And then there's a section in the middle that slows down and gets much lighter, and I feel like we've landed on the planet. Let's suspend disbelief and say we could actually do that. And it's very peaceful and serene, and then there's the trip back home. It's another one of those ones that are very challenging. Thank you so much. Our last piece, I'll talk about that in a moment. I just want to say thanks again for everybody involved. Thanks for sharing your kids with me this summer. I know some of you are aware my mom has had some health difficulties, and it's really been kind of a junky spring and summer for me. But coming to summer band and making music with kids, I swear, is the best therapy in the world. It's been my pleasure to work with your children. So thank you so much for me and for supporting your students. They have great things coming up. Band camp starts next week, and your children are too young for that yet, but hopefully we will see them on the field when they are in 9th grade. The last piece is Mamma Mia, the ABBA's 1975 hit. Mr. Baldanzi was here a couple weeks, and we learned, does anybody know Mr. Baldanzi? He says he hates ABBA. I don't understand. It's a great band. So I believe maybe Mr. Krause's students played Mamma Mia this year. They told me they loved it, they wanted to play it, so I went with their preference, and I think the whole band enjoys it as well. After our concert, the second-year kids can go back to the band room to get their cases and meet up with your parents as soon as we're done. Thank you. We also get the first-year band students to stand up and give them a round of applause as well. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your summer.